Coach, you start your season on the road this year against Miami of Ohio, a 2-2 tie on Saturday and then a 4-1 loss on Sunday. But you come home this weekend, Michigan Tech home opener on Friday. Can I get your thoughts on coming home and starting your home season here in front of the fans?
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. Number one, it's going to be wonderful to start a season without worrying about COVID in terms of fans and getting them in. Now the job we're going to have is to get them back and engaged. We had one of the best student sections in all of college hockey up till COVID hit, and then you lose those students, and what are we 2 years removed from that situation, and are 2 years into it. And so now we've lost half the student population. Can we get those kids, the freshmen and sophomore students, engaged, get them into our student section? Because it's played such a big part of our team and our success over the years. In regards to our team, I think we're playing very well. Tough night on Saturday or Sunday, losing 4-1. But realistically, the game was much closer than that. We outshot Miami, and I thought we had some very good looks. We just couldn't get the puck past their goaltender. But I'm very optimistic for the season ahead.
What did you learn from the first weekend at Miami? Does it change your approach to lines or anything like that, kind of going into this weekend? Or?
We've shifted lines up a little bit coming out of the weekend at Miami. Not anything too major, but we did tweak the lines. A couple of the moves was necessitated by injuries. We do have a couple guys that came out of that weekend. Nothing long term, but they'll miss 2 to 3 weeks. But what I learned about our team is the compete is there. They're going to compete and battle very hard. But I did, two things that stood out. One, we got to be better in our defensive zone, and I think that's an easy correction for us. Just some different things that we can do in our own end. And I think conversely, we can be a little stronger on the forecheck. And those two things, I did feel at times Miami territorially carried the play. I'd give them like 45% of the territory. And I think we can flip that to 55-45 in our favor if we can be more aggressive in our defensive zone and a little better on the forecheck.
Tech on Friday and then Western on Saturday. What kind of unique challenges do they each present for you guys?
Well, we know Tech very well. We played them 6 times last year. The last 4 games all went to overtime. So, it's 2 pretty evenly matched teams. I would assume that the teams will be pretty evenly matched as well again this year. And then on Saturday we play Western, and we're fairly familiar with Western. We play them every year non-conference, and both those teams are very aggressive. They'll be physical. They have good size. So it'll be, even though it's 2 different teams, it's almost like playing the same team, both nights. And the interesting thing too is this year we're going to be in the Great Lakes Invitational Tournament down at Van Andel Arena, and it's going to be Tech, Western, ourselves, and Michigan State will join. So, we'll get familiar with them this time around, and then hopefully it'll help us when we play them at Van Andel.
Okay. And you kind of touched on it off the top. Having the students, the fans back, not having to worry about COVID, what are you kind of most looking forward to with the atmosphere this weekend, hopefully?
Well, I really hope we can get the fans back and engaged. But it's one of my concerns. I've watched other athletic, events throughout the country, and you can see, for the most part, fans are starting to come back. But I do worry about that re-engagement of the students. Particularly, like I said, there's 2 classes of 50% of our students here on campus maybe haven't been to a hockey game before just because of COVID. So it's going to be important, one, that we do well at home ice so that we're an attraction for our students. But number 2, just to engage those kids and educate them on how great sport of hockey is.
Coach, you have a long 6-game streak at home. Is there any particular goal you're looking at for those 6 games?
Nothing in particular. I'm more or less looking at this as we want to get better week to week. And so we didn't really goal set as much as process set. Like, we're really into the process right now. Hey, how do we approach every single day in practice? Are we, we're going to identify areas that we need to improve upon. And rather than look at the 30,000-foot view and say, okay, we'd like to be 5-1 at the end of this, or 4-2, we're more or less immersed in the actual process of getting better. And so we came out of the Miami weekend and identified a couple areas that we thought we could improve upon, and we're drilling down on those this week in practice.
For you in goal in your first game of the season, and CCHA Goalie of the Week honors for you, what does that mean to you as a player, and how can you build on that going forward as you continue this season?
Yeah, I think it was just good for our confidence as a team and me personally. I just wanted to go out there and be me and do my best, and I think the best version of me gives us a really good chance to win, and I think that's what I did on Saturday.
Mentioned more of like a bit by bit focus on getting things better. Has there been anything you've done in specific to improve?
Well, for me, I'm just trying to enjoy the process, right? I think getting better is you want to enjoy it, right? I mean, I'm not really focused on the end result right now. Still in non-conference play. I think for us, we want to put together good performances, good team efforts, and I think that's going to lead to good results at the end of the season where it really matters the most.
As a junior, you've spent the last couple years with all sorts of different restrictions and stuff. What are you kind of looking forward to with a home opener weekend this weekend where things are going to be a little more open?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we're all looking forward to it. I mean, we saw it last weekend against Miami on Saturday. The place was packed. It was rocking. It was just tons of energy in the building. And for us, like, that gets us going as the home team. And we're going to look to use that momentum to really put the pressure on early.
Have you had an atmosphere like that yet here, or do you have any sort of expectations of what you might see?
Yeah, well, we played Michigan State at home. We had a few big games early in the year last year where we played a lot of big-time teams at home, top-ranked teams at home, and the crowd was rocking. And I think it really gave our team a boost and really helped us get our offense going early in the game.
And then the goaltender of the week honors, did that come to you as a surprise, or how did you kind of receive that?
Yeah, I mean, Harrison Watt, our media guy, told me, and I think I want those type of performances. I expect that on myself, and I think when expectations are high for yourself, that's where you want to be. And I think I want those expectations for myself to stay there, and I hopefully can keep them there.
Does that give you a little more confidence too going forward?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's hard early in the season, especially as a goalie getting going. You haven't seen live fire in almost 6 months. So I mean, for me, I just really wanted to get in there, stop the puck, see the puck, and get game feel, and I think that really helped me against Miami.
Coach has been raving about the tandem of you and Noah Giesbrecht. How's the relationship? Does that play a role in how strong the tandem is this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Noah are really good friends. I think for us, we bounce a lot of ideas off each other, right? And as goalies, you don't really get that with players on the team because they don't play goalie, right? So it's easy for me and Noah to bounce ideas off each other, like talk to each other about different kind of situations in games and in practice. And I think it really helps when you have two brains put together that can really solve those kind of issues.
Logan, Coach was just talking about how he really likes this team and thinks it's a strong team. What do you think the strength of this team is overall that's going to allow you guys to compete and win some games this year?
Well, I think first of all our compete, and I think our compete's at a really high level. I think you saw it both games last week, and I think we play really hard. We really get on the forecheck. We play hard defensively. Sometimes we just need to clean up the little errors in the game, little minor details, but we're really young. We have a lot of new faces that are in the lineup, a lot of young players in the lineup, and I think those are going to come with time.
This past weekend, 2 games on the road against Miami of Ohio. You return home this weekend for your home opener. What are you most looking forward to in front of your home fans here?
Just getting back in front of the fans, yeah, like that. In front of the student section again. Last year we ended off pretty high against Michigan Tech at home and a couple of good games, so I'm looking forward to getting the atmosphere back in the building.
Is there anything you kind of learned from this first weekend at Miami that you think you can kind of apply this weekend?
I think, yeah, we can definitely be a little bit harder on pucks and like win a lot more battles, which will in turn like give us a lot more chances. And in the end, we did have a lot of chances last weekend, so I think if we start capitalizing on those, like, it'll definitely pay off and help us out.
Coach mentioned you played Tech a bunch last year. What's kind of your relationship going against them? Is there a little bit of animosity? You guys play each other so often, or?
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have some like a grudge against them after putting us out last year in 2 like nail biter games. I think we went to double overtime and single overtime to end our season last year in the playoffs, and it could have went either way. So, looking forward to getting back on the ice and maybe have our revenge this weekend.